Jacob, on this day in 1986, in the NFL draft, Auburn running back Bo Jackson is the first pick by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is this the greatest athlete of all time?
I'm going to say yes. I think he would have been, if able to finish his career, been a Hall of Famer in both baseball and football, which I don't think would ever be replicated. I mean, the only guys that also come to mind are, you're going to hate me for this, like Wilt Chamberlain. I think he could like high jump like 7 feet, and I think he was a good sprinter. But like, I don't know. I mean, I just don't think anyone has been able to match. Maybe Deion Sanders. He's the only other guy who I think has been who has succeeded in both leagues at the same time.
I mean, in your head, I mean, can't even think of anybody right now. If it is, probably is Deion Sanders. I mean, I'm sure I know there's a lot of NFL players right now that do both, but none of them that are successful in both.
I don't. I can't think of the last time an NFL player has played in a regular season baseball game. I mean, Russell Wilson goes into the Texans and now the Yankees spring training every year and gets like a couple of bats and a few innings in the field, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's just you just don't see it anymore. I mean, clearly we didn't really watch him, but man, just seeing all the documentaries and like clearly with social media, seeing all like the videos of Bo Jackson and stuff like that. I mean, there's 30 for 30 for on him, and that might be one of my favorite ones to watch.
That's a great one. I mean, and he also has one of the greatest just highlight reels in all of sports. I mean, and the big one that always pops up to me when I think of him is the wall run after that catch in center field. Like the Bo Jackson wall run is just iconic. Like that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. That's just honestly, it's probably the first thing that comes to my mind too. Is that wall run? That's something you don't see anymore.
That or like was it? I think he like robbed a home run and he gunned a guy out on like one hop from the left field fence to like first base. Some like it's the wall run and there's I can't think of the exact scenario, but there's a throw of his that's just ludicrous. After he robs a home run or makes a diving catch, and he just on a line just lasers a guy. So I can't think of the exact play, but there's another throw. It's crazy because I mean, like I have these baseball highlights coming into my mind, and he was a primary football player, which is funny, and like the only football highlight I can think of is when he destroyed his hip on his last play.
Yeah, I mean he's just successful in both sports. Yeah, a lot of baseball stuff comes from me too, but I mean it's great. I mean he's the Heisman Trophy winner too, so it's not like it's just crazy. I mean Heisman Trophy winner gets drafted, plays both football and baseball. They're just very good at both things, and it was crazy to think about. But I mean I just don't think it'll be a long time, or if we do ever see it happen again. Honestly.
I just don't think that that nowadays there's a guy who would just be willing to. Honestly, I mean, I don't think anyone wants to get hurt. He said, I mean, like notable guys. Like I said, you got Deion Sanders. I mean, like I said, who was stealing bases, hitting triples for the Yankees, and then you had Bo Jackson with the Royals. Like, I just can't think of like a situation where someone would do that these days. A guy in prime position to do so would have been Kyler Murray, and he didn't even consider it.
It'd been kind of cool to see Kyler Murray do it, but
I'd love to see it. Like, I think like the day needs to come back, kind of like the two-way pitcher, like Shohei,
Yeah, that's a fun one to watch too. Is Shohei actually seeing pitcher hit and a pitcher pitch? I mean, he's pretty good at both. I'm definitely better at batting, but.
I mean, he's definitely not a Cy Young caliber pitcher, but I mean, he's a good pitcher. I mean, he's got good stuff. His ERA is good. He strikes guys out like crazy because his junk is ridiculous.
Well, that's for sure. It's always fun to see highlights from Shohei Ohtani on Twitter, Instagram. But welcome, boys and girls. I think we should move on to the Lone Brother podcast today. For today's podcast, we talk about the first round of the NFL draft. And we talk about some NBA today with the playoffs happening, with the first round basically over. We have one more series left, being Memphis versus the Timberwolves, and just some other random NBA stuff that's happening today. But to start off our podcast, we start with the NFL draft, with yesterday being the first round of the NFL draft. The second and third round is going on right now as we speak, actually, but we're gonna focus mostly on the first round. Which, Jacob, this was a draft that I don't think anyone knew what was going to happen. You have a non-quarterback heavy draft class where there's not any strong quarterback that you would imagine that you probably want as your franchise. I mean, yeah, you're just basically taking a chance on a quarterback. And also a draft where we see the first 5 picks becoming on the defensive side of the ball. I think when I was watching the draft, I said this is only the second time in history that has happened. And it's just kind of a whack draft. I mean, a lot of trades happened yesterday. And, I mean, Jacob, what's your biggest takeaway on yesterday? If it was some trades, if it was picks, and just overall, I mean, what's your thought process on the draft yesterday?
Like you said, I mean, there was just not a ton of offensive talent up top outside of some, some tackles and wide receivers. But I mean, I'm looking back, and after those first 5 defensive players, the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks were offensive players, tackles and wide receivers, like I said, and no quarterbacks until the 20th pick. And as we sit right now, for the people who are listening afterwards, we're at pick 49 in the draft, and there's still only been one quarterback off the board. To me, that's just unheard of. I just don't. I mean, I can't think of a draft in recent memory where there's only been one quarterback off the board in the top 50. Because unless the Saints take Willis at 49 here, which they sure might. Like, I just don't really see a time where a quarterback can go off the board even in the next 10 picks. Like, it's just, like I said, I mean, it's just super thin this year on the quarterback talent.
And which I feel like is just weird, because I feel like in our time, at least, Jacob, I mean, I feel like each draft there's at least one quarterback or one dude that people like that are want and they're interested, that I feel like usually goes top 10 or so. And what was it last year? Was it last year, a couple years? I mean, we've had a couple years here where we've been quarterback heavy in the draft.
I mean, last year, the first 3 picks were all quarterback.
And I mean, like, we just seen these drafts with quarterbacks, and which is rightfully so, because NFL is a quarterback league. A lot of throwing the ball now, and it's just the times have changed from ground and pound running game and defense. But it's just weird to see that, like you said, we're at the 49th pick and there's only one quarterback off the board right now. When I was watching the draft yesterday, it was just really cool to see that it was just, defensive end, cornerback, defensive end. Like, I mean, it's just, I mean, granted, you don't see like a wide receiver or, running back typically go that early, but I mean, it was just cool to see that, the quarterback didn't get picked till that late, and kind of cool that Kenny Pickett gets to stay right in Pittsburgh, right where he's been for the last 4 years.
That worked out great for them. That he slid. They didn't even have to try to trade up. I mean, a lot of people kind of thought that Willis might go like number 6 to Carolina, but like I said, I mean, he's still sitting here at 49, waiting for someone to call his name. And after the Saints, it's the Chiefs who aren't going to take a quarterback. The Eagles, the Steelers, the Colts, Patriots, Cardinals, Dallas, and then the Bills. Like, that's 9 more picks where we know none of those teams are taking a quarterback. Then it's back to the Falcons, who might take one, maybe not. So I mean, it's also kind of nice because, I mean, I just think this is one of those years where there's not a ton of teams who like have a desperate need at quarterback. Like the team, I mean, like the Jaguars have their guy, the Jets have their guy, even though I don't think Zach Wilson is the guy. The Jets think they have their guy. The 49ers have their guy. Like Detroit, I think, is gonna just try to ride Goff out and see what happens with him. So like I don't think Detroit's taking a quarterback. Like Tampa Bay might take a flyer in the 3rd or 4th round to see if they can get Brady to coach him up. But I mean, like, there's just not a lot of teams out there who have like a glaring need at quarterback either this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like you said, there's not really many people that really. And the thing is about the Jets. I don't think Zach Wilson's the guy either. But they just drafted him, and and I feel like they also looked at it to be like, this is not the year if we're gonna try to get a different quarterback. Like, it's definitely not the year. I mean, they could definitely wait and reach for a while, but it's just weird. I mean, my biggest take was like, there's a lot of trades yesterday. I'm gonna say one thing you say about Tampa Bay also did draft Kyle Trask last year, like late in the draft or whatever, year or two ago. I'm pretty sure it was last year. Kyle Trask was it would have been last year. They drafted him late for old Tom Brady.
I think they got him in like the 3rd round, right? Somewhere in there. Like I said, they kind of took him somewhere in the middle. Yeah, the Saints took safety. So we might see only one quarterback go in the first 2 rounds.
Which is crazy to think, but I mean, I guess, like I said, I'm not surprised. It's just not very quarterback heavy this year, and not a lot of. I mean, I feel like if there was 5 dudes who were like last year, like lot really good quarterbacks or whatnot. I mean, next year we might be quarterback heavy. You got Bryce Young. You'll have
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud coming out. I know there's a couple more. I can't really.
I think the guy for Florida is good, right?
Well, Clemson's whatever. I can't even ever pronounce that dude's name. I think he'll be eligible for the draft too next year. I mean, granted, there'll be people next year for it, but my biggest take was, like, yesterday was just crazy seeing all these picks. Like, honestly, I started playing. I was watching it, but then I started playing Call of Duty with Jakey G. So I was just following it on my phone and just seeing all these trades and seeing AJ Brown gets traded. I mean, we talked about him last week about these wide receivers and where they're going to go and if they're going to get paid. Then we see Hollywood Brown get traded to the Cardinals. And, man, was my boy Lamar Jackson not very happy about that trade by the looks of it. And it looked like a lot of the Titans players, too, weren't very happy to see A.J. Brown go, I think. But A.J. Brown wanted to get paid, and it didn't seem like that the Titans were going to pay him, so they got rid of him. And the whole Hollywood Brown thing, I just don't quite understand. I mean, you're taking one of Lamar Jackson's targets away from him, and then hopefully they trade or they draft a wide receiver, something here to help Lamar out. But I mean, it's kind of cool. I guess Hollywood Brown and old Kyler Murray get to squad up again like they were in college.
Yeah, like I said, ton of trades, and I'm going to hit on the Vikings here because I'm all the Vikings fans in the area. But what the hell is Kwesi doing? Like, they had the 12th pick, they traded it back for the last pick in the 1st round to take a safety when they could have taken Hamilton at 12, and then the pick that they traded for, they traded back again for like more 3rd rounders. Like, what? Like, he's clearly playing the quantity game here. I think he just wants to get as many bodies in his door as possible. But like, Grant and I have been texting like pretty much all day, during the draft yesterday and today, and we do like I just can't figure out the logic behind what he's doing.
Yeah, clearly I follow a lot of Vikings fans on Twitter, and I think I can't remember if Taylor Scott tweeted or if he just liked a tweet or something, but it was just so funny. It was just like the Vikings trade their whatever pick for however many picks like today or something, and it was, I can't remember what the tweet was. It was just so funny to see. I'm just like, I've seen a bunch of people tweet too, like quality over quantity, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. It's kind of strange. Like you said, they trade back. Like, they could have got a better quality dude at 12 rather than trading back. And
like, I get if they trade back and they take like an edge or something like that, or literally any other position. But like, if going to this draft, like, we need a safety, and Kyle Hamilton, who is arguably the best player in the whole draft, is available at 12, and then you trade back 20 spots. They didn't trade back 5. They traded back 20 spots and moved up like 13 spots in the 2nd round. That makes no sense. And then they got an extra 3rd rounder in there, which I guess if you think the 3rd rounder has value, then they took they're picking the second round, and then they traded it to their biggest rival on the planet so they can get the best wide receiver available for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing? Like, I mean, I was a big fan of Quessy because I'm also a numbers guy, and he was like an investment banker and all sorts of stupid stuff like that. So, I mean, like, I kind of thought he'd like do some fancy data analytics baloney, but like, I cannot for the life of me figure out what his game plan here is, because it just kind of seems like he's just, playing Madden and just trading everything.
Oh yeah, that makes it funny because there's like a Twitter page yesterday where like after all these trades are happening, like they went on Madden to see if these trades would be accepted, and like all of them got declined. Granted, I know it's Madden, not real life, but it's just I don't know what he's doing. I feel bad for whole Minnesota fans, but never know. This happens all the time. We'll crap on a dude for making these trades and stuff like that, and then two of the even three of the four picks that they get or something turn out to be dudes, and then we're just like, oh man, he actually did know what he was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly the Vikings have a couple dudes in their mind who they really like that they knew that they could get later on. I understand that there's a dude early on, but clearly they thought in their head after all the scouting reports and the pro days and stuff like that, they probably just in their head they have these 3 or 4 dudes that they really, really like that they know that they can get in the second and third round, and they're just like, let's just trade our picks and keep moving back and back and back, is what I assume. If not, they're just thinking. I hope that's what they're thinking, rather than just like if we have more picks, we have a better chance of finding someone good. But I don't know. I mean, also maybe trading back to try to meet a bunch of places that they need help with on offense and defense or special teams or whatnot. But I don't know. I guess it would be cool to see. Honestly, Jacob, I loved I feel like the Jets.
They've had a great draft, in my opinion.
The Jets, I think the Saints have had good draft. And oh my gosh, well, when Aiden Hutchinson went to the Lions, I was so happy because the Lions are terrible, and I'm like, oh yes, that dude is with the Lions and not like, I know the Jags are bad too, but like the Lions are typically always bad. But then my freaking Ohio State man Garrett Wilson gets drafted by the Jets, and I was like, I am depressed right now. I'm like, are you kidding me? He has I just couldn't believe it. But I think the Jets have done a good job. I mean, we'll see what they do. I feel like the Jets and like typical teams, Jets, Browns. I mean, I guess the Browns have drafted some good players, but I just think about all the quarterbacks they've had in their lifetime, and like I feel like the Jets have been a team that typically haven't had. I mean, this is a Super Bowl for the Jets from what I've seen on Twitter is the draft day, because they always have a top 10 pick every single year, and they're still historically absolutely bad in the past 10 years. And I think they did a good job, and I'm curious to see if they can get actually a good quarterback, or maybe quarterback Zach Wilson starts developing into the player they think he's going to be. But
I mean, they've definitely got him a little bit of help. They got him a receiver to throw the ball to. So I mean, at least he has a threat. The other 2 picks in the first round short out the defense, but playing quarterback is easier when your defense can stay on the can help you out and give up a few less points. So I mean, yeah, I don't have any issues with what the Jets have been doing. I am very satisfied with Seattle's first round pick. I think it's one of those things where like I think they could have gotten him at like 12, 13, but I mean I also saw mock drafts where Cross is going top 5, and he's probably the best pass blocker in the draft. So I'm perfectly fine with that. I think that was a great pick. And then they went and took Kenneth Walker the third, which I thought was interesting, with the 41st pick. But I mean, I think the Seahawks are having a pretty good draft at this point. I kind of hope they take. I mean, if they can get Desmond Ridder in like the 3rd round, I'd be all for it. Because honestly, at this point, it's either take a flyer on one of these quarterbacks this year, get Coral, get Sam Howell, get someone in the 3rd, 4th round, and see what happens, and see if we get a Russell Wilson, or just trade like a 4th round pick for Baker Mayfield. I mean, because I would like to see someone else other than Drew Lock and Geno Smith, just for an extra body. If they don't start, then they don't start. But I just kind of want to have a little more competition. Like, at the quarterback spot. So, like I said, I mean, if they can grab Ritter in the 3rd round, I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, and I will say one thing. Like I know you follow the Seahawks. I mean, you're a Seahawks fan. You follow them. Patriots. I mean, I have nothing really to say about them.
I
mean,
thought that was a big reach.
yeah, I don't want to talk about it. But I mean, I'm not gonna. I will never disagree or with what Bill Belichick and the Patriots do. I mean, in the past, they've known what they're doing. So I'm not gonna say dislike or dislike. I will say this though, people are crapping on the Packers for not in the first round not drafting a wide receiver, but the wide receiver they drafted didn't get picked. Like on because their first pick in the first round was a 22nd pick, and then they had the 28th pick. The last wide receiver to get taken was before the one they took was the 18th pick of the draft. So I mean, I don't think they're like yesterday when they're just like, oh, the Packers are stupid for not, drafting a wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers, but their wide receiver that they would have picked in the round 22 was still available in the pick 34. So I mean, I think the Packers were smart in that way. Last night when I was thinking too, I was like, how stupid are they? And then after looking at it, and they still got the same wide receiver that they probably would have drafted at 22. You know what? Doesn't make no difference.
Yeah, it said none went about 2. Like, I mean, that was my first thought, especially after their second first round pick. They didn't take a wide receiver. My first reaction was, what are they doing? Like, do they want Aaron Rodgers to retire before the season starts? But like you said, you start looking at the draft board and you go, there weren't really any more first round wide receiver talents left. Then they traded up for the Vikings pick, and then they grabbed Christian Watson, to my absolute hatred. I cannot believe. Why do these NDSU guys always land in the perfect place? Like,
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I mean, if you want to go rant about, I don't want to speak about why NDSU players get put in great situations. That's
the luckiest college football team on the planet. Every single time they go play an FBS team, it's in a down year, and then they win. Like, it's so stupid. Except for their win against Iowa. I'll give them their win against Iowa. But, like, they have got to be one of the luckiest football teams on the face of the planet. They just, like, Wentz in his rookie year almost wins a freaking MVP and then a Super Bowl. Like, I'm gonna end it at that. I can hate on NDSU all day.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to say much on it. All I will say is Big Cat tweeted after they drafted it. He said Christian Watson, and then in all caps, bust! With an exclamation point. I'm just like, yeah,
agreed.
That's what I'm hoping for too. But I will say I really have nothing else to speak about the draft. I mean, it's kind of been interesting. I'll just say about the Green Bay too is that it came out today or whatever that for Green Bay that Aaron Rodgers came out and said that he was surprised when the team traded Devontae Adams because he said when he signed with the Packers, his impression was that Devontae was gonna be coming back and playing with them. And
that's rough.
Well, I mean, hopefully for Aaron Rodgers, Christian Watson is absolutely great wide receiver for him. For my sake, I hope he's a bust and he sucks. And honestly, I feel like just Aaron Rodgers is just kind of, great guy, but I feel like the Packers haven't really helped him out in past drafts, and I just haven't helped him out with past drafts. They're trading away his best, wide receiver he's had there, maybe ever with the Packers.
They also lost Valdez. What's his name? Valdez Scantling. Did I get his two names in the right order? I said they're really thin. I said, I mean, they have Tunyon. Christian Watson can be the best wide receiver. I mean, we've seen what rookie wide receivers can do. We've seen what DK did his rookie year. We've seen what Justin Jefferson did 2 years ago. We saw what Jamar Chase did last year. He could come in and be all pro.
For sure.
He also might not. But he's even if he is all pro, he's not Devontae Adams.
Well, no, it seems like he's going to be coming into the Packers. I can't think off the top of my head who else the Packers have at wide receiver, but, he could be going in there right away just being the number one option for Aaron Rodgers, and clearly Aaron Rodgers is a pretty damn good quarterback, so he's easily going to get him the ball. So, like I said, that's just interesting about the Packers, and I feel like their offseason moves that they make every single year because it never seems like they're really helping out Aaron Rodgers, who's arguably the most talented quarterbacks ever to play the game. But besides that, I have nothing else to put on the draft. If you want to put some final touches or words on it, you sure can.
I don't know. Like I said, I mean, you touched on those, on that Ravens and that Titans trade. I kind of like them both, actually. Like I said, I mean, both of them probably didn't like the idea of signing those wide receivers, bigger deals. I think they both got great young guys coming in. Tennessee ended up drafting Traylon Burks out of Arkansas, and Baltimore, I think, got the steal of the draft with Kyle Hamilton at 14. So, I mean, Kuiper had him at number 4, but I mean, you could arguably say he was probably the best, player in this draft, and getting him at 14, I think, was a great grab for them. Like I said, I mean, I've gone over my Seahawks. I don't get that Patriots pick. When they did that, I'm just gonna bring this up just to make you mad. But like, do you see the graphic that said there was a 93% chance that the guy they drafted would be available to them with their next pick in the second round, without even moving up? They could have got him in the second round. Maybe Belichick is like, this is the guy I want. I think he's better than all these guys in front of him. I think he's a first-round talent. Why don't you trade back 20 spots and pick up 3 more draft picks and pick them anyway?
You never know. I mean, I understand. I completely understand that 90%. I saw the whole 90% thing too. I mean, it's just like the thought of the process is if the Packers drafted their wide receiver at 22, but my thought process is we also don't know what's happening in those draft rooms. Like, the Patriots could have been on there and be like, we want this guy, and then someone on the phone says like, we're picking this guy on the 23rd pick if you don't trade us, or like if you don't, there might have been other teams that really wanted this dude too, and Patriots wanted assured that they had him. Like I said, I'm not gonna. If my favorite team was an unsuccessful team that struggled to win every year, I would probably be upset. But Bill Belichick and the Patriots consistently make good moves to make the team better, so I'm not gonna question, even if there was a percentage that they could have got him in the second round. I'm
gonna question it, but like you said, these GMs have a much better idea of who these other guys are going to take than we do. So I said, I mean, like there definitely could have been rumblings that, oh boy, if we don't move up, the Bengals are taking him at 31.
Yeah.
So we just gotta take him, because if we don't, we kind of think that these 2 or 3 teams are probably going to end up taking him because of that. I mean, which I don't think a lot of people realize. Like, most of these GMs actually kind of know who the other who these teams are going to take. Just between trade talks, between everyone, all these GMs are talking to each other. Like, for the most, I mean, and these GMs know what the other teams need, more than we do. So I mean, these guys have a good idea of who's taking who. Like, have you ever seen a draft pick going as fast as when Hutchinson was still on the board at number 2 for the Lions? That took them like 15 seconds.
Yeah, it didn't take them long to make that pick.
That might have been the fastest first-round pick ever.
I mean, they knew what they wanted. I mean, if they would have drafted Hutchinson, first pick, they clearly, I feel like the pick would have been in right away, and Travion Walker would have been right there too. I mean, I say this every year. It doesn't make any sense to me that whoever has the number 1 pick always waits till the last second to put their pick in. I'm like, you guys know who you're gonna pick. Like, in my head, they're sitting there just staring at the phone, waiting for a trade for a trade call, and then they put in their pick last minute. Like I said, the Lions immediately. I mean, like I said, and Big Cat was talking on his podcast. Like, is there anything worse than like when as soon as you pick, the team behind you is like, "Wow, you're so stupid," and they put in their pick immediately? It isn't a dumb pick, but it's like Detroit clearly. Like, if Detroit had the first pick of the draft, they would have picked Hutchinson. Like, Hutchinson was the guy on their board, and said, I mean, and I think that's a great pick for them. Like, I mean, and I think that's where Hutchinson wanted to end up. Just be a hometown guy. It's kind of like LeBron going to Cleveland. It's like you get to hold on to the guy who grew up in the area, played at college 30 minutes away, and all that fun stuff. But I think that's where I'll end my draft analysis. Yeah, I have really nothing else to add about it. I mean, of course, once again, it's a SEC heavy I think there was like 11 players in the first round.
I mean, Georgia had 5 defensive players go in the first round. I feel much less bad about Michigan not being able to move the ball on them.
Yeah, but besides that, a lot of trades happened. A lot of trades, a lot of defense. No quarterbacks have been basically the first round and getting into the second round here today has been all about. But I think moving forward from the NFL draft, we move into the NBA playoffs, where the first round is basically complete, which we have one series left, being Memphis and Minnesota. Like I said earlier, Memphis leads 3-2. That game is tonight, actually. That's kind of been a wacky series as well. I'm pretty sure it's in Minnesota tonight, so we'll see if we have another protest on the floor that will hype the Timberwolves up to take Game 6 here. Seems like anytime there's a protest or something, they end up winning.
I might have to make it a bucket list item to do an on-court protest at a Timberwolves game.
No, yeah, that'd be interesting. But yeah, no, it's been the first round's over. We had Phoenix taking the series with Chris Paul not missing a shot last night to win the series, which is just crazy. Dallas beats the Jazz. Golden State beats Denver in 5 games. Miami wins in 5 games. Philly does not get upset and blow a 3-0 lead, which everyone thought they were going to.
I was really hoping that they'd blow it, because that'd just be great for the Doc Rivers haters out there.
And say Milwaukee beat Chicago in 5 and Boston swept the Nets. Jacob, I mean, minus if the Timberwolves win tonight, I mean, the first round, there was really not one game went to a Game 7. And it's just...
And the higher seeds have won every series so far, too.
Yeah, and I feel like most years in the past, I mean, I think typically the higher seed does win, but like I feel like in the past, at least one team makes a series out of it. Like, if Minnesota wins tonight, I mean, I told you this on podcast last week or whatever week it was, that I think the Minnesota-Memphis game is going to go into 7 games. I think Memphis will come out, but so theoretically right now we have Phoenix versus Mavs, Heat versus Sixers, Milwaukee versus the Celtics, and then Golden State versus Memphis or the Timberwolves. And the big thing, Jacob, I will say this, is that the Milwaukee Bucks, that Chris Middleton is out for the whole series. And possibly, if they beat the Celtics to the conference finals, that he might be possibly out for the whole conference finals. Which, as a Celtics fan, makes me happy. But then again, it's like, the Celtics win. It's like, if they had Chris Middleton, like... They would, but the Celtics are rolling right now.
That's why I always hope that when I play another team that all their best players play, because I don't want to hear, well, this guy was hurt after you win a series, because that's all you're going to hear.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, Jacob, I mean, the Suns have looked they look like they can just, like, they haven't looked great. I feel like teams that look absolutely good right now are the Warriors and the Celtics, and you could probably even say the Heat. Right now, Jacob, what have you noticed in the playoffs so far, and looking forward to these next series, and who do you think you think we might see in the conference finals?
I mean, I think it's going to be Heat Celtics, especially. I would have wanted to have taken the Bucks without Middleton. I mean, I love Giannis. I think he's probably the best basketball player on the planet right now. But I just don't really see how he can get through them, especially after the Celtics just swept the Nets. Like, KD and Kyrie aren't exactly an easy group of guys to sweep, regardless of what the rest of the team looks like. So, I mean, I'm definitely going to take the Celtics and the Heat. I just don't have that much faith in the 76ers. I just don't have any faith in James Harden, and I think the Heat look really good right now. I mean, they took care of the Hawks pretty easily, and in the last game they didn't even have their 2 best players, and they took care of them easily, because Trae Young just magically became one of the worst players on the planet during that series. Do you see that he had like the second highest drop in points per game ever from regular season to playoffs? Might have been either way. That's like, he went from like 29 points a game to like 15. I really do think that them making it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year might have been bad for them. I kind of think they came into the season thinking that they were the big boys on the block, and forgot that they're in the same conference as the Heat, the Bucks, the Celtics, and the Nets.
Well, the Eastern Conference was Eastern Conference was very honestly. I feel like well, maybe not the West, but like I said, the Heat, the Sixers are coming up, Bucks, Celtics, Nets, and then even for a while, I mean, Chicago didn't never beat the good teams, but they were up there.
And they were plagued by injuries. I mean, I don't think they had Caruso for like the last quarter of the season.
Yeah, I don't think so. And Lonzo was out for a while there too.
They have all those injury problems.
But I think I have to agree with you. The other day when we were on the podcast, I'm pretty sure it said, "Oh, Philly going to be and playing for net." I don't agree with that anymore. I think I will. I was wrong, I think, but maybe I should just stick with them and roll with them. But I'm not because the Heat look good. I think it's gonna be Heat, Celtics, and then I think, Mavericks. I just don't think they're consistent enough. They have the talent there. I just don't think they're consistent enough to beat the Suns, and I think it'd be Suns, Warriors, and I honestly think the Warriors are gonna be back in the finals, and because Phoenix, the thing about Phoenix, they have talent around them. The thing that keeps them is that they're very like they all work together very well. They're like a put together team,
and that's Chris Paul. I'm just gonna say it.
Well, I mean, it is Chris Paul for sure, but I mean, they have all the people around them that just come together, and the only other team that I'd say is like that would be the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks are about the same team, is that they just have players around them that they all buy into what they're supposed to be doing, and like it's not just like two players can just. I mean, I know you have Giannis for the Bucks. I mean, that makes it a little different, but it's just like they have Chris Middleton that can take over. They have Drew Holiday, and it's just I think they're a team that's well put together. But the Warriors are also, to an extent, are kind of to that, but they're just very star power heavy, especially Jordan Poole coming up. And I think the Warriors will put them down, and I think the Celtics are playing unreal. I mean, the Miami's playing pretty good too, but I think it's gonna be a Warriors Celtics, and I feel like I don't really know. I think it's just like we talked about. It's like the first playoffs in a long time that there's not been like a super team or like I mean, last year really wasn't either. I mean, they were there, but they didn't make it to the finals. But like, we're finally transitioning away from that, it seems like. But I mean, there's who knows, in a couple off seasons here, we might get some people signing and creating another super team or something. But it's just cool to see that, like I said, I feel like this is one of the first playoffs I've been actually excited to like follow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stick with my guns. I still really like the Heat and the Suns, and I'm not 100% sure on Devin Booker when he's coming back. I think he's supposed to be back for this whole series, but like I said, I mean, honestly, I think they can get through the Mavericks without him. Like, I think they'd be fine with just with running with Mikal Bridges and Ayton, Chris Paul, and I think and Jay Crowder. Like I think they'll be okay. I think they probably get taken to like 6 or 7 games without him, but I think they'll be fine. Like, as long as they can get Booker back for the Warriors series, because the Warriors are gonna. I think the Warriors are gonna sweep whoever comes out of.
Okay, Jacob too. I should correct you right now. Devin Booker's playing. He played in last night's game.
Okay, so they're good. All right.
I was gonna say,
yeah, they're fine then.
I say he played last night. He played 32 minutes last night too. I mean, he only had 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. But doesn't matter when Chris Paul doesn't miss a shot. Literally does not miss one shot the whole game. 33 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Yeah. Well, I went to probably but when we were playing Call of Duty last night, Jake Gilbert, he was watching the Suns game, and I asked him, I was like, "Is Devin Booker playing?" He's like, "Oh yeah, he's on the court right now." I was like, "Oh, okay."
I could have sworn he was out the whole series, but like I said, I clearly have no idea what I'm talking about.
Well, he was supposed to be out for 2-3 weeks, but I saw stuff on Twitter too that he was eyeing a return for Game 6 because his injury happens to be better. It must be the weed or something. Just whatnot. But I don't know. I have nothing really else to say about the finals. Or playoffs. I think Minnesota will come out with a win tonight. I'll go to Game 7, and honestly, I would imagine I think the Grizzlies will win this series, but I wouldn't be surprised if the T-Wolves did. And
I mean, I wouldn't either. I mean, the T-Wolves honestly should have won this thing in 5. They are two big blown leads in the fourth quarter away from winning this game in 5. They just don't have any finishers. Like, you can't really rely on Ant yet. He just doesn't really, have it in him. I mean, D'Angelo Russell, I think thinks he is, but I'm not sure. Like if I trust him to close out a game, and Cat is just a basket case.
Yeah. So. Oh, whatever. Either way, won't be surprised. I think doesn't matter. They're gonna lose to the Warriors in at least 5 games.
5 games max. I think it'll be a sweep. I just don't think either one of them is gonna be ready.
And like I said, then I think these actually next round games should be pretty interesting to watch. I mean, I think the Suns, Dallas will be. I mean, I wish Chris Middleton was playing, so when the Celtics actually do beat him, there was, like I said, there's no excuses or anything like that. But anyways, I don't know. I'm excited to see where the finals have come in the next round. But well, Jacob, I mean, speaking of Memphis and the Timberwolves, while we're on it, I mean, one of our other topics today is Ja Morant winning the most improved player 2 years after winning Rookie of the Year. And there's been a lot of controversy on Ja Morant winning most improved player, that if he actually deserves it. I mean, granted, he improved. There's no denying that. But a lot of people don't think that, honestly, when they came out with their 3 people that that made the finals for it.
I thought DeJounte had it locked up, honestly.
Well, it just DeJounte. I mean, you can argue like Jordan Poole. Well, and then didn't you see Ja Morant just ended up giving Desmond Bane his most improved player award anyways? Because I feel like Ja Morant couldn't care less about it. I just think this is a year. I feel like in the past they've gotten it right, but like I just feel like this year I'm like Ja Morant. It's like, did he make that big of a jump this year? Because from what I remember, last year he was pretty damn good.
Like I said,
his rookie year he was pretty damn good.
He went from like he had, I'm gonna pull up his basketball reference page and look at his stats. But like I said, he went from Rookie of the Year to last year borderline All-Star, and then this year they're gonna give him Most Improved Player. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like Most Improved Players are for guys like Jordan Poole, who were in the G League less than 365 days ago, and are averaging and averaged like 30 points a game in the last quarter of the season.
So I do have his stats up here. So he averaged 9. He bumped up his points per game by 8. His assists went down. Actually, I mean his steals went up like 0.3, and then his total rebounds went up by almost 2, basically. And so I mean, yes, I know he did improve like significantly, but like a dude who's an all-star like that, I mean, I just unless he like came back from an injury, I'd be like, okay, yes, but like, and people. I'm not saying he did not improve a lot, because I mean the stats show it itself right there. I didn't realize he made that big of a jump for points, but I still don't like a dude who's a star like that and has been a star. I mean, he made a big jump for scoring more points and like stats wise, but like, I mean, stats wise, yes, you'd be like he made a jump, but like I feel like when you just look at him himself, like I don't think like he's an all-star of the league. He's probably one of the futures of this league, and like I just don't see it. I mean, when I feel like there's other people out there that 100% deserved it more.
I think the 2 guys who as a Spurs fan, I think Jordan Poole should have won it. That just kind of seemed like the obvious choice. But since he didn't, I feel like DeJounte Murray got robbed. Like he went from, so last year he averaged 16 points a game, 5 assists, 7 boards. This year he averaged 21 a game, 9 assists, 8 boards, and led the league in steals.
Yeah.
He is literally the only player ever to put up that kind of stat line. Ever.
Yeah,
come on.
Like I'm not disagreeing with you at all about that. And well, the thing is about is, I mean, like Ja Morant gave it to Desmond Bane as the most improved. Like I feel like Ja Morant even realizes he's like I'm already a star of this league. Like why are they giving me most improved? And then just honestly, I feel like that was like a slap to the face to the NBA or whoever does the awards and selects it for. I don't even know, but like I feel like they're just like wow, it's kind of a slap in the face. We give him this award and he just gives it to somebody else. Like I feel like Ja Morant realizes too. Like he's like, I'm a star in this league. I'm one of the dudes that like you should be scared of. Like why am I getting most improved? Like I should be being considered for awards that are not most improved. Like and that's what it just seems like to me. That was just the weird part that made it seem like he wasn't the one that should have got it. Was when he gave it away. I know it was to a teammate, but still.
Yeah, that doesn't. Like I said, that just doesn't make I'm gonna go on and on about this just because I'm his first. But if DeJounte Murray averages five more points a game, that's an MVP season. Like if he can get his scoring up to 26 points a game on 9 assists and 8 boards and only 2.5 turnovers a game. This isn't a 4 turnover a game triple double Russell Westbrook. Like 2.6 turnovers a game is all on. Like I said, like if he just gets his points up 6 or 7 points, that's an MVP season. And like I said, last year he was averaging 16 points a game, like 5 assists, 7 boards. Like that's so stupid. Like I said, and like I said, and Jordan Poole literally wasn't even in the freaking NBA last year. Basically, I think he played like a few games.
Yeah.
Like just absolutely and just utterly. I mean, this one just came down to he was the sexy pick because he does cool dunks. Like I can't think of any other reason why you would give him that award.
Yeah, I don't know. So I've spoken to what I think about it. I mean, I don't think he deserves. I think there's other people out there that deserved it more from him. But I mean, if you want to, I mean, you can keep going on about it if you want. But let's say we have one more topic here to talk about too.
Let's talk about the player in that draft that's definitely not as good as Ja.
Yeah. So like I said, the other player from that draft, Jacob said, is Zion. And today, I think someone came out and asked him, they're just like, if the Pelicans were to sign you an extension, like, would you want to do it? And Zion came out and said that like he couldn't sign fast enough if the Pelicans wanted to give him an extension.
Which is a lie. He's definitely lying.
And okay, I mean he says that, Jacob, but like I mean should basically the question we asked you is like, should the Pelicans want to extend his give him an extension to keep playing for him, because this man has played how many? He has barely played any games. He's played 85 games in his this would be technically his 3rd season. I mean, he's been in the league for 3 seasons, and he has played 85 games. Like that, I understand he's been injured, and that's my point. Is that he's been injured, and like the crazy part for me is I cannot just like these last couple of weeks when the Pelicans and they're just like, Zion Williamson is still out, like definitely out for the season. And then I see these videos of him in these warm-ups running around, dunking the ball, like doing crazy Zion dunks like he always does. And I'm like, how are you not ready? I mean, I don't know the extent of his injury and
apparently the Pelicans doctors are telling him he's not ready to play. It's not the other way around.
Oh, okay, well, still, I mean, whatever. But like, maybe that's Zion's way of like being like, oh, they tell me I can't play, but I feel I'm ready. And
it's honestly, like the opposite of the Spurs and Kawhi Leonard a few years ago.
The Pelicans are probably literally just, I understand the Pelicans, and they're probably just like, he's been out the whole season. Might as well just like sit him out for this season and for the rest of the season, so he doesn't get hurt in the last 2 games but whatever. But I mean, Jacob, should they want to sign? I mean, should Zion want to stay? I mean, his career when he came in, everyone's like, this is the new LeBron James right here, Zion, and we have barely seen him play. I mean, when he does play, man, his stat line is pretty good. But I mean, Jacob, I mean, I don't know what you think about it. Just I don't know what the move is for the Pelicans. I don't know what the move is for Zion even.
That his stat line is why you extend him, because honestly, if you're the Pelicans, what's your other option? Hope you draft another Zion. Like, I think you just extend him. Because last year, in the 60 games he played, he averaged 27 points a game on 60% shooting. Like, I mean, 7 boards, 3.7 assists, not great, not bad on in the rebounding category. I mean, and he's only shooting 0.6 threes a game. We know he can't shoot. That's not part of his thing. And his rookie year, in the 25 games he played, he was at 23 points a game on 58% shooting. It's like, he's efficient. And he can be great when he plays. I mean, he was an all-star in his 2nd year and was like top 5 in scoring when he was actually playing. It's just you just got to be able to keep him on the floor. And maybe he'll never be. I mean, like I said, maybe he's Greg Oden and he can just never stay healthy. But like I said, I mean, they'll still have 2 years on his contract, right? I mean, this is only his 3rd year, and their 5-year rookie contract, or 4 years, and then a 5th year option. But they're going to pick up his option. So I mean, I say you just sign him because I don't know what their other options are, and when he plays, he's awesome. I'm as big of a Zion hater as there is. I didn't like him going into this draft. I was I was high on Ja Morant, but I did think RJ Barrett was going to be the dude in this class, and he hasn't been terrible, but he definitely hasn't been the best player in this class. It's definitely been Ja. So as a Zion hater, I really do think they should keep him around because I kind of think he's their only hope.
I like Zion. I do. And I thought, honestly, if he wasn't injured, I think his stats show but that he can be a dude, but when he's healthy. And like they have one more year of him, and then that 5th year, I don't even, whatever, I guess I don't even understand what it's an option to them to pick it up. But if they really wanted to, like you say, they could trade him or something for one last year here, but I don't know. I see right here, rookie extension eligible, 25% of cap. They could sign him to a 5-year, $186 million deal, extension for him.
I say give it to him.
From what I see right here, and I'm one of those players, and this is the Siakam talk. Jacob.
He's better. He's way better than Pascal Siakam is, though.
Okay. That's a very, very stupid thing to say.
He's significantly better when he's healthy.
That's a stupid thing. You look at his whole career. Anyways, Jacob, all I'm saying is that did I think Siakam was worth the max contract? No. But you gotta give him the money, and if they extend it, I'm be about the same thing. Right now, I don't think Zion would be worth that $186 million for not playing at all. But you're gonna give it to him? Yes. But the thing is, the Pelicans have good players around right now. They got Brandon Ingram, they got McCollum there now too. They're a good team, especially after McCollum came. They really Pelicans turned it around, and if Zion could stay healthy, that team could be a very dangerous team.
I think could be a contender. Zion needs to be the best player, and he needs to score 30 points a game. But they could be a contender if Zion can Zion.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think that's a big if. Honestly, I don't think they extend him. Honestly, I feel like they go into next season with their last contract. Unless they want to keep him, whatever. But I feel like if I was them, I'd just go into it and be like, if you stay healthy, we'll give you a max contract the next year. But if you get injured again, we're just gonna let you go on your merry way. But that's the only thing I'm gonna say. I think Zion's worth it if he stays healthy. But that's a big if in his career so far.
So he can definitely, like I said, he can definitely be a Greg Oden, or maybe even a better comparison would be even Anthony Davis, or if you're looking at the MLB, Byron Buxton. They're just guys in every sport where it's if they could just stay healthy, they'd be so awesome, but they just can't stay healthy for the life of them. And Zion and it's just kind of looking and frankly, and this is what I say going in the league. I said he's too heavy. He's gonna hurt himself. But the problem with Zion is him being that big is kind of part of who he is as a player. So it's do you want him to lose 20 pounds and lose, some of that bruiser he has in him so he can stay healthy? And I don't even know if his weight is the problem. I'm not saying that his weight is the problem, but I had concerns that his weight was going to cause injury issues, and maybe his weight is what's causing the problem. Maybe it isn't. I'm sure if it was, his trainers make him lose some weight, so maybe it's not. But
yeah, but like I said, I got nothing else to really speak about it. I think I've said my piece. Don't have anything else to say. Don't think I have anything else to say about it. So, which means that concludes our episode for today. Like I said, a lot of NBA and NFL heavy. Next week when we come back, we'll have the rest of the draft to talk about. Just kind of probably talk about winners and losers and see how teams are looking, going forward to the next season. And besides that, I don't really know what. Might just be a one day next week. Besides MLB's in season right now, but clearly nothing's too exciting's happening there. I'm gonna get a little into it. I've been following it actually quite a bit because I bet on it every single day. So I actually know what's actually happening in MLB, which is kind of weird.
I actually watched a lot of the Yankees Baltimore the Orioles game the other day at work because I was not actively watching, but I had it on in the background because it was on ESPN, on ESPN Plus. So I actually got to watch 4 or 5 innings of Yankees baseball passively while I was doing other garbage. But
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully we'll probably find something to talk about next week. And yeah, I guess thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.